So Dan, how are you now?
I'm good.
No, that's not how you're supposed to.
No, it's not. It's
Good
not
and
so bad. No.
good.
What is it?
Good, and you?
No, I think it's something
No,
else.
no,
No.
it's how are you now?
Yeah,
Good, and you?
Not so bad.
Not so bad, and you? No,
not so bad. And you?
and you?
Jeez, you guys are pretty bad. You forgot it
We are
already.
bad, huh?
Yeah.
Good. Not good. And you. Look, I'm getting real sick.
We can do.
McMurray, how are you?
Well, McMurray.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. How are you now?
Yep. Good, and you?
Good, and you? Not so bad.
Not so bad. That's it.
All right.
Perfect.
Okay. So we start that over again?
Yep.
I would say the first thing you notice when you meet Heather is her big, beautiful smile, her warm, smiling eyes, and her hair. Everybody notices her hair. And it doesn't take long to appreciate that that beautiful smile, the outward Heather, is actually who she is inside as well. So very caring, very smart, very confident. She was an amazing nurse to work side by side with.
Heather as a nurse, Heather as a human being was wonderful. She saw the good in everybody. She saw the bright side of everybody. Even when she was mad, she managed to twist it into something that was funny, and then she would laugh. She didn't have a mean bone in her body, that one. No matter how nasty patients were, she was always there, always kind, always caring. She's the nurse I would have picked. If I was sick, she's who I would choose. The skill, the knowledge, but also the caring was the most important part of her.
So much fun. She involved my daughter, who at the time was about 6 or 8. She'd bring toys for the kids out there. She'd always bring copious amounts of food and alcohol. Pitched in with whatever needed to do, haul water, chop wood.
Heather would always do something out of the blue for you.
Yeah. Thoughtful.
Yeah.
She was so thoughtful. The generosity of bringing in a coffee when you knew you had, you know, a really tough night of call, or reaching out and saying, you know, do you have lunch today? I'm going to bring that. Or always having office snacks and chips or things like that. We sort of had a stock of those things. Those were small measures and gestures to each other, but like a sense of like, you know, we're taking care of each other. We're generous. We care about what kind of day you had. That was your sister.
You know, if I was working and she was doing one of her cases, ME cases, and happened to be at HSC, and it was on, you know, a Saturday, she'd sneak up and say, "Hey, Heidi, I'm going to come and have a cup of coffee with you." I said, "Come on, I can take my coffee break." And we sat and we'd you know, chat nursing stuff.
I'm not sure how many other people shared her passion for Letterkenny. She took Letterkenny to the max. She watched every episode. We would be discussing the episodes after they happened. We couldn't wait until they did happen. So when we heard that Letterkenny was coming to Winnipeg, we had to go. I picked up Heather. She had her Letterkenny Irish hockey sweater on. I had my Hard No t-shirt on that she bought for me. We were there at Letterkenny, and it was fantastic.
So do you guys mind if I buy my own trailer and bring it out here? So, and that's what happened there. And that was her sanctuary. That was her own place. That wasn't any other family members or left over from an ex or didn't share it. That was hers, and she was very proud of it. Everything she did, how she decorated and fed the chipmunks and the birds and her fire. She loved her fires, sitting with her coffee in the morning just on the deck, whether it was raining or not. Yeah, she was very, like her sanctuary. Yeah, she just loved it here.
Well, Heather was always so generous with me too, and like generous with her heart, with her person, and with her belongings. Like she'd always want me to, you know, come out to the Oasis, and if you and Pastor Brad want to stay at my place, come on. You got to plan a couple days. I want you to have my place for a couple days so you can get away. It was important to her that I was cared for too. As much as I wanted to care for her, we cared for each other. Right. And that was special about her.
My favorite sort of experience with Heather is at Oasis and going in the water. Because the water there is typically pretty cool. Heather, in my experience, would go up to her knees, maybe her waist at the most sort of thing, and then just go back out and then suntan again. And I kind of challenge her a little bit sometimes, because I always just go in and get wet and all the rest. And the one time she came with me and actually went in, got her hair wet and everything. And it was sort of like, you know, Terry, I can do this too if you really want. And that was really kind of neat because it was kind of a special kind of moment for both of us to have.
Yeah, that was a fun. She was very generous with her place at Oasis, and enjoyed sharing it. It was obviously an incredibly special place for her. So we had lots of fun times there. Mm-hmm. A few times where I'd have to phone home for a ride and.
One weekend it was your sister's weekend, 'cause she was going to work, so she had the Thursday and the Friday off, and it's a Wednesday evening. Let's come out to the Oasis and let's blow off some steam. Well, there's a bonfire, and there's alcohol, and there's Kim and Heather, who probably never even ate supper. We probably went straight there after work, which we would typically do, and we're having a great time. Well, I got to get up in the morning, and I recall there's like this plastic lounge chair, and she had bought a beautiful set for around the fire. And so at one point in time, I'm either jumping on her lap or she's jumping on mine. We're wearing flip-flops and her cowboy hats around the bonfire. Well, we flattened the chair between the two of us. I mean, it looks like, and she has a picture of it on Instagram. It says, "They don't make seasonal furniture like they used to." And it's flattened. And that was the picture. I get up in the morning, and I don't even recall the event, and I just start laughing because there's this flattened chair, and it's like a crime scene of Kim and Heather, and a cowboy hat, and two sort of backwards flip-flops that are just sitting there, and it's been downpour of rain.
Sit and stare at the water early in the morning. Just get up with you and her and Dave would be the first ones down there. just watching the waves and the sun come up. That was her quiet, peaceful moments. Until the red eyes showed up.
And then shortly after red eyes would be sangrias.
Yeah.
And then the tequila would inevitably come out.
Yeah. Well, tequila would be a Heatherism.
Of course, yes.
Sure.
Heather made it okay to have a red eye at any time you wanted it. Absolutely any time. So I recall that we were in Mexico, or matter of fact, our very first trip to Mexico, she was just blown away that the bar didn't open until 10 in the morning. Well, this just was totally unacceptable. So here we are on the beach in the morning. We've got our chairs, which was kind of a ritual. Sometimes her and I would be down there 7:30. We're having our coffee. She trottles off, and a few minutes later she comes down and she's got this plastic shopping bag. Well, wouldn't you know it, she went to the hotel convenience store and out pulls a clam and a 6-pack of Corona.
When we were in Puerto Vallarta and we were at Pinocho's, and we'd probably, well, especially Heather had been drinking all day, and we were having a grand old time, and we met a couple that was from Manitoba, and their child had died in a car accident, or I'm not even sure what the details were, and Heather immediately transformed into a sober, professional, empathetic, sympathetic ME. Yeah. And they didn't have all this info and everything, and Heather gave them her card and said, get in touch with me when we get back, and I'm going to get to the bottom of this with you.
Yeah. I do believe she always used to say that this was her dream job. Your sister had such a very charismatic and genuine approach to her ways with people that, I mean, she had the ability to establish trust right away that they would let their loved one be taken out of the home in care and control of Heather, and that she would get an autopsy done for this family, and then that she would educate them on their past medical history and what happened with their loved ones. And then, like, she really formed bonds with these families. And one story that sticks out in my mind most is that there was a SIDS baby death, and the mom was completely distraught. And your sister assured her that the baby was going to be cared and protected for, and that a chain of custody was happening where the RCMP were escorting the baby into like the morgue, and that it would not be, you know, by itself on that route, and that we would try and get some answers for that family as soon as possible. She developed such a bond with that mother that she would write Heather letters, she would send Heather Christmas cards, and that went on for many years after, and she went on to have other healthy children and grew her family, and Heather became a part of that celebration, and she would send her letters and cards.
Oh my God.
I believe she believed in prayer. She gave a testimony in our church after her first diagnosis and her, at the time, recovery from the first bout of cancer until the recurrence. She had a wonderful testimony she gave to our church, and thanking the many people who prayed for her. And I'm going to tell you, we had many, along with myself, who prayed for her on a daily basis. God doesn't always answer the prayers the way we want them, but that's not for me to answer. But I know her prayer life was important to her. I know she loved music. She really loved some of the Christian songs that were sang. And sitting in church listening to the music, that meant a lot to her. And even like every once in a while there'd be a sermon that really spoke to her and gave her that strength that sometimes she needed, that we all need when we have our struggles in life. But for Heather, that really meant a lot. And it carried her through some of the dark days that she had. And it also gave us a lot of joyous times. Man, we had fun. Not only outside of the church, but man, we had fun in the church, talking with some of the other, our other friends. We'd get together and we'd just chat, and it's a good thing. Her faith was a beautiful thing.
When she mentioned something about God or faith or believing in a better place, it was with a a real kindness. Everything about her was kind.
I believe Heather's faith made her the person who she was. She was an honest person. She was a strong person. And I believe much of her strength did come from her faith in God that I know she very much always openly shared with me. I believe it gave her the integrity I saw in her and her very strong work ethics that made her the remarkable nurse that she was.
So she had her diagnosis, and but was determined not to cut that last trip short, that she was going and she was going to live that northern experience. She was going to paddle with the belugas. She phoned me that night. We actually had a conversation, and it just felt out of this world for her. She described it as just something incredible.
If I didn't love you so much, I wouldn't trust you. Hey? If I didn't love you so much, I wouldn't trust you. Hey? Come on. Come on.
When you're looking a beluga in the face and they're looking right back at you, it's just this really deep connection.
Hi, baby. Hi. I know.
And she connected very strongly as well with the guide that took her out, Erin.
Let's go. Hi, look at this, Erin. Wow. Wow.
It's a special bond with people that have been to Churchill and lived there and just experienced it. So that was kind of neat.
She used to come here and sit in this chair, and she liked being here. She said the flamingos gave her a sense of peace, that it was just different. And it's like a garden. In the middle of winter, when it was so cold and snowy outside, we would still sit in here and have a glass of wine initially. And my last text to her was I was going to come and see her. And then, you know, she had that nasogastric tube. So she could no longer have wine. And our thing was always wine, right? Chinking glasses when we texted. Yeah. And so I said to her, well, you know, you can still drink, swish, and spit. And she thought that was hilarious. And that was going to be a new, yeah, there's always that, she said. There's always that. Yeah.
So Monday evening, several of us received a text message from Heather. Heather had been in hospital now for several days, a week almost, I guess. And so receive a text message saying, to all my friends, you have often asked, what can you do? This is my plead. And it was a request to get her home to Oasis.
We are going to need all of us together collectively to make this happen.
So those of us that she had gathered together very quickly moved into action, and we were absolutely going to make this happen for Heather.
So Jan organized what she could, and a physician was at least going to be coming out on Friday.
Home care saying, this is very complex, we need 5 days. Heather's team, Oasis, says, you got 2. We need to make this happen in 2.
So on Thursday morning, that's when we knew we had to get the ball rolling. So Erin's out getting equipment. I'm out getting equipment. Jan's out getting equipment. Jan's meeting the O2 like getting the oxygen set up.
Clean up at the Oasis, trailer opened, Erin and Dave, Terry went to do the yard work. It just, everybody moved into action. We'd move mountains for her.
Previously, as a flight nurse, I knew what sort of resources to use in terms of getting your sister from one location to the other.
She trusted us with that request. And there's nothing that we would have wanted to do more.
It was like Jan went up to the ward, and it literally, like I say, it was tiresome to hear about COVID, because I do believe it was like through Fort Knox just for her to get up there.
All we heard from the establishment side was that this was complex. They'd never done this before. They'd never discharged to a campground, and that didn't faze any of us. It was just the right thing to do for her, and it was the right place to be.
Basically, it was like a load and go. We scooped her out of there. Yeah. And en route, I have to tell you, your sister, as, you know, I mean, as sick as she was and as frail as she was, I mean, she's still sharp as a tack. She's looking backwards through the patient transfer truck, and she tells me, you better tell the guys to get into the left lane because they're going the wrong way. I go, I think we got it covered. They got Google Maps, and I've got the key to the Oasis. I got the fob with me. We're all good. We got it. She goes, no, seriously, get them into the left lane.
We had drawers for medications, med sheets. We had report books. We had all the equipment we needed that we got. We had the oxygen going, like in 2 days, you know.
I call it the type A nurses, where you take out the kitchen utensils and the drawers and you make it to where there's all of your IV supplies and your syringes and your needles. Or you take out a basket of the fridge and that's where all of the fruit's supposed to go, but then that's where we put all of the medication.
The slider, the bed wedge, then the plywood under the mattress, because nobody was happy with, you know, the sloping mattress.
We got her up onto her deck, and, you know, I said, Heather, give yourself a hug. These boys were so awesome. We walked her right into her camper, right into her big comfy bed. We gave her 2 little sort of positions up, and your sister looked around. She went,
it's truly a privilege to be able to help someone transition. There's no greater gift in my mind to be able to let somebody transition with dignity and with people around them.
To be able to provide care to somebody that you love like that, she gave me a gift.
What I never got to share, for words I didn't mean, for all the songs we've never sung, for every place we've been, for what I never thought to ask, and for all I knew too well, for what was there right from the start, what days had yet to tell. I know, this is out of my control, and only time will get me through. Life don't stop for nothing, no matter how you want it to. I will miss growing old with you. When everything you had to say would drive me up a wall, when just one look into your eyes could summarize it all, when your brother smiles and thoughts of you come flooding